Today we are going to start with chapter 12, biotechnology and its application. In chapter 11, that is biotechnology, principles and processes, we have discussed what is biotechnology, what is recombinant DNA technology, what are the tools of recombinant DNA technology, and how these all tools are used to make a recombinant DNA. And now in this chapter we are going to discuss about the fields where we are using the biotechnology. That's why the name of the chapter is biotechnology and its application. So here we start with the chapter. First of all, we'll just revise, we just go through what is biotechnology. That means the definition of biotechnology. So now you can see over here the definition of biotechnology is that it is a branch of science which deals with the microorganisms, plants or animals, cells to produce products and processes useful for humans. Means whatever we are doing with the microorganisms, plant cells, animal cells, whatever we are doing with these organisms, these all we are doing just to gain or obtain products which are useful for humankind. So here we say that biotechnology is the branch of biology in which we are dealing with the microorganisms, plant cells, animal cells to obtain products which are useful for human. Now here we see that where we are using the applications of biotechnology, because the name of the chapter is biotechnology and its application. So where the knowledge or where the techniques of biotechnology are applied. So here we can see that first is therapeutics. Therapeutics means medicines. Nowadays many medicines are obtained or they are produced from the microorganisms, because we already know about the recombinant DNA technology. So by use or applications of recombinant DNA technology, we are applying this technique on microorganisms and are able to get the medicines or obtain medicines from these microorganisms. So these microorganisms, they act like a factory for producing these medicines for human. Second is the diagnosis. For diagnosis of a disease, biotechnology is adopted. Then GM crops for agriculture, that is genetically modified crops. We are doing gene manipulation. Genetic manipulation is done in the genetic composition of the plants. And new plants, or we say the disease resistant plants, or plants which cannot be affected by the pests, such type of plants are obtained and these plants are used in agriculture so that the products can be increased. Next is the processed food. In processing also we are using microorganisms so that the food does not get spoiled and can last for a longer time. That means the shelf life of the food increases. Next is bioremediation. Bioremediation. We know that bioremediation, that means biocontrol, we have already studied that to remove the pests or weeds from the field, we are using the agents. So that also is used in the field of biotechnology. Next is the waste treatment. We have already studied about the wastewater treatment, sewage treatment plant, in which microorganisms are used to treat the waste, and the waste is processed in the form of carbon. We get methane, which is used as a biogas, and we get the manure, as well as the sewage is treated and the BOD of the water decreases so that it can be used in a proper manner. So these all are the applications of biotechnology. And now here we'll continue with the chapter related to the biotechnology. Now here we just discuss about the applications of biotechnology in the field of agriculture. So here you can see over here applications in agriculture. First is increase in the food production. Because when we are applying biotechnology in agriculture, the main motto of applying this technology in agriculture is to increase the food production. So here is increase in food production by first is agrochemical based agriculture. We are using agrochemical based agriculture is being done so that production can be increased. Next is organic agriculture is there. Again we are focusing more on organic culture and less on the chemical based agriculture. Then third is the most important is genetically engineered crop based agriculture, where we are using genetically engineered crops which are modified genetically so that they have the capability to sustain themselves and to give a good production. Now here you can see what is the harmful effect of agrochemical. Though we are using agrochemicals in agriculture, but still they are having some harmful effect. So here you can see agrochemicals are expensive for farmers because farmers they have to take the loan. Then only they perform agriculture because they are not that much rich. Their life depends on the loan only. So they take the loan from other people and then they purchase the seeds, then fertilizers, whatever they are using in the agriculture in their fields, they use a large amount of money for that. And for this they have to borrow money from someone. So this type of technique or these agrochemicals, they are expensive for the farmers because they can't afford. They have to borrow amount from someone else, then only they will apply. And apart from that, here it is in developing countries, because in developing countries like India is a developing country. So in developing countries like India, farmers are not that much rich. They are not having that much technology through which they can have a good crop or good production in their fields. So what is here? The agrochemicals are expensive for farmers in developing countries and also have harmful effect on the environment. These agrochemicals, they cause a harmful effect on the environment by killing many animals or many species, which results in the extinction of species. So it affects the environment too much. Students, just now I told you about the genetically modified plants. That means we have done manipulation in the genes of the plant and we have developed good quality plants. So now here is, you can see the genetically modified crops resulted in what is the benefit of genetically modified crops in the agriculture. So now look over here one by one. The first one is increased tolerance against the abiotic stresses. Abiotic stresses means change in temperature, climatic conditions, then soil conditions, soil fertility, presence of nutrients or not, then light availability, water scarcity or water availability. So all these abiotic conditions, if we talk about, we say unfavorable conditions. So due to this genetically modification, genetic engineering, what we have done or what scientists had done, they have developed such species of plants, such species of crops which can bear and or which can withstand under abiotic stresses and can develop fully. That means these plants does not get spoiled under any such abiotic stress. So next one is reduced reliance on chemical pesticides. Plants require pesticides to protect them from pests. So what is done according to this genetic engineering, that we have incorporated the genes of the other organism which kills the pest. So when pest attacks the plant, then the pest itself dies and the plant survives. That means plant is left unaffected. So in this way what will happen, we don't have to use any chemical pesticides over the plants. So this develops the pest resistance in plant. Next is that reduced post-harvest losses. After harvesting, the grains used to spoil due to the temperature or moisture. So what is there? These genetically modified crops, they have such capability that they are not spoiled when they are stored. Next is increased efficiency of minerals used by plants. That means these plants used to absorb the nutrients from the soil, so and they helps to maintain the fertility of the soil. Next is enhanced nutritional value of food. That means whatever the food which we are obtaining, which are the crops which we are growing in the food, in the fields, these crops, like for example wheat or rice. So if we take rice is rich in starch. But apart from the starch, vitamin A is also, due to genetical modification, vitamin A is also incorporated, means the gene is incorporated in the plant, so that the grains which we get from the rice, that is the variety name is golden rice, so it has the nutrient content apart from starch, vitamin A, which is very essential. So here this we say that the enhanced nutritional value of food, that is golden rice example, in which is rich in vitamin A. Now next one is creation of tailor-made plants to supply alternative resources. Means we have developed such plants which are called as tailor-made because they are genetically engineered. They are produced in the laboratory. They are produced in the laboratory. So what will happen, whatever their product is, they are good in that resource. So it is here they supply alternative resources also, like starch. For example, starch is provided by them. Then we say fuels are provided, biofuels, and they are also used in pharmaceuticals industries. So here these are the applications of genetically modified crops in the field of agriculture. Now we'll discuss how these plants help in the fields, or how the production is increased by using the genetically modified plants, or what are the different genetically modified plants which have been developed by the scientists in the laboratory by taking the help of this biotechnology. Now first we'll discuss is Bt cotton. Now students, here we are going to discuss about the genetically modified plant, and first plant, genetically modified plant which we are going to discuss is Bt cotton. Bt word over here, it means that cotton plant is derived from an organism, that is bacteria, containing this cotton plant. It contains the genes of this bacteria, and the name of the bacteria is Bacillus thuringiensis. Actually what will happen, this bacillus bacteria we talk about is, it kills the insects because it is present in the soil, and these insects, they are also present in the soil. So this bacteria, when these insects, they eat this bacteria. These insects means lepidopterans like tobacco birdworms, armyworms, coleopterans like beetles, and diopterans like flies and mosquitoes. So when these organisms, they used to eat this bacteria, then this bacteria, it used to kill these organisms. Now how this bacteria kills these organisms? That when this bacteria enters into the alimentary canal of these organisms, it used to secrete a toxic substance, and this is called as, this toxin which is secreted by the bacteria is secreted in the inactive form, and therefore it is called as protoxin. It is called as protoxin. And when this toxin enters into the alimentary canal or gut of the organism, where the alkaline pH is there, where these the pH of the gut is alkaline, pH of gut of insects is alkaline. So So when this bacteria, it reaches to the gut of the insect, or where this protoxin reaches to the gut of insects, then it convert from inactive to active form. And when it attain its active form, it makes it interact with the epithelial cells of the alimentary canal and lyse the cells of the alimentary canal or epithelial tissue of the insect. That means it makes the pores in the alimentary canal of the insect, and due to which the insects died. Insect is not able to bear that pain and it dies. So now what will happen? This formation of protoxin by the bacteria, this was utilized by the scientists, and they isolated the gene which secrete this protoxin. So this protoxin gene extracted from Bacillus thuringiensis was incorporated into the tobacco plant, because tobacco plant was mostly affected by these organisms, these insects. So what will happen? The gene of Bacillus thuringiensis was incorporated into the tobacco plant, and when these organisms, they used to bite or affect the tobacco plant, affect the tissues of the tobacco plant, then this gene, it secrete the protoxin, it produces the protoxin, and this protoxin, it enters into the alimentary canal of the insect, becomes active in the alkaline pH and create pores in the epithelial tissue of the alimentary canal and kills the organism. Thus, we don't have to use any chemicals over the plant to kill these pests. It was automatically done, and the thing is that this is a species specific. So it interacts with the specific species only, and other species are left unharmed. Now one more thing is that this gene, we call it as BT gene, Bacillus thuringiensis gene, which is secreting or producing this protoxin. This is called as, or it is named as, cry gene, because it is releasing the protein or this toxin in the protein in the form of crystals. It is secreting the protein in the form of the crystal, so it is in the crystallized form, and when it enters into the alkaline pH, it becomes solubilized. So what we say that in crystal form and at alkaline pH, it becomes solubilized and kills the pest by making pores in the epithelial tissue of the plant. Tissue of the insect. So here the insect's epithelial tissue of the alimentary canal has been affected and the insects dies, and the plant is safe from the infection of these pests. So now more thing is that the genes which have been isolated is, now look over here, there are two types of genes which have been used in the BT cotton plant. These genes are CRY1A, C, which are incorporated in the cotton plant to make the cotton plant free from the infection of the pest. So they helps in the formation of Bt cotton. Now this cotton plant is termed as Bt cotton. Now another gene was there, CRY1AB. CRY1AB, this gene was incorporated in the corn plant. So it is called as Bt corn, to protect the corn plant from the infection of the organism. So here from this we can say that biotechnology helps in developing a good variety of the plants in which can be safe or which can be made insect free. We can make these plants genetically modified so that the pest or the insects does not harm the plants, and this is simply done by incorporating the gene of the organism into the plant. And this gene, it produces a toxin, it kills the insects, and the plant is safe from the infection. So now that's all for today in this class, and we'll continue in the next